All right, there have been a number of new developments in the city over the last 24 hours, and a lot of people asking questions about events. We know from the CNE and the Winter Fair announcing that they plan to host in-person events this year to the cancellation, if I can say it. Gina's right there. I'm glad she's not laughing. To at least July the 1st. So let's break it all down, including our vaccination plans in the city. Mayor John Tory joins me now. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mel.
Cancellation, it always trips me up. No, it doesn't. I don't know why I can't say that today. Let's talk about the events. We had a lot of people chiming in this morning, Mayor Tory, about what's a go, what's not a go, and obviously a lot of planning in play. When one event wraps up, they plan for the next year. So where did the decision-making come into place, and why that July 1st cutoff?
Well, we work backwards from July 1st, and a lot of these organizations have to go out and sign contracts, for example, to hire artists to perform or to, book different kinds of things that they need, tables and chairs, to put it at its simplest. And we don't want them in a situation where they've gone and made those contracts and expended money that these organizations, don't have a lot of, and then to only turn around to find out that the health rules at the time or the health situation at the time won't permit the event to be held. And so if you look at something like Pride, they had already taken the decision on their own to cancel. But if you think about what Pride is, Pride is a huge celebration. It's a big party, but it's most of it is, whether it's the Dyke March, the Trans March, the big parade, the whole festival, it's shoulder to shoulder people in big crowd scenes. And I think most people will understand the fact that even if we are hopefully, and I've got my fingers crossed, every which way I could, back to a more normal way of life by Pride time, which is the end of June, we will not be in a situation because the vaccine program won't be finished. There'll still be people with, COVID, or it's still a danger. So we won't be back to the place where we can be shoulder to shoulder on Yonge Street watching the Pride Parade. And so we looked at events like that and just said those are the ones we'll have to say, unfortunately, for one more year, we will go virtual with. And that's what we did. And we took it out to that date because that's about as far out as people are having to sign contracts. And then we'll have to look again for the events that fall into the late summer and the fall.
Is it something, so when you say look again, it's possible that something like the CNE could be called off then? I know the plans are in place for that it will be in person, but there's a potential there that it might not run.
Yeah, two things that have to be looked at here. When they talk about having an in-person event, what do they mean? So if you look at the shots you showed on BT just a couple of minutes ago of people on the Midway shoulder to shoulder and people on the Tilt-A-Whirl ride, I think they were on there, sitting really close together in that ride. Maybe it'll be to the point where things are way better and lots of people have got vaccinated. We hope so by then, but maybe it won't be the case that you can do business as usual. And they'll come back with a model that says, here's how we'll run the CNE, a bit different, but we'll nonetheless try to run it. So nobody's making any judgment about the CNE at this stage, although I would say that the notion of us being able to have the CNE as per usual, exactly the same as it was in years before the pandemic, seems unlikely just because we'll still have to be careful. I think we have to accept the fact probably for some time while they finish out the vaccination program and while, we sort of make sure this virus is good and truly gone, we will have to be more careful and we will have to maybe continue to wear masks on the transit system or, inside an office building. These are things that I think it's likely, if we're just thinking sensibly, that even in August when the CNE happens, we will still be doing.
When we speak about the vaccination program, our cameras were there touring one of the facilities. I believe this one was in Scarborough yesterday. And we wait to be able to get that supply and for the rollout. What are the discussions right now to be able to make this all happen? I know it's happening from a provincial level, but at the municipal level, are we set?
Well, we just continue to get our clinics ready. So the one probably was in Malvern that City TV went to see. And that one is ready. If you open the door right now, all the chairs and tables and stations and, all the things that have to organize it, the signs, everything's ready. And so that was our job, was to get those ready. And then we have to have the supply come. And there was some good news coming yesterday on that, which the federal government, I know the Prime Minister's been working very hard on that. And then finally, you have to have what's in between, which is the information management and registration system, which is the province's responsibility. And they've indicated that's going to be opening on March the 15th. And the priority list, which they have done, which sort of says, here's the order. And again, they put parts of that out yesterday saying, if you're a health worker, you'll get your vaccination at this time. And if you're 75 years old, you'll get it at that time. And I think there's reason to believe that it could even improve that schedule over time, depending, again, on the supply and depending on people booking their reservations, which they can't do just yet. But I will just say from the city standpoint, we're working hard to make sure our part of this, where we're really, the province is like the managing partner and we're their partners in executing some of these things, mobile testing and clinics and this kind of thing.
Mayor Tory, we've run out of time, but inquiring minds here want to know if there have been any discussions about the Toronto Blue Jays and the possibility of being able to see any games in person here in Toronto.
Yes, the discussions have been ongoing for several months now, going all the way back to last season, and the discussion has ended at the following place for the moment, which is that the Blue Jays will play their first couple of homestands in Florida, and we will then begin a continuous program of assessment of how the health situation is and what the border is like and whether people are traveling back and forth. So that I will just say that we're on it. I've been in touch with Mr. Shapiro. He's in touch with all the health authorities, and we're hoping, of course, again, fingers crossed, that we'll get to a stage in the city. I don't think it'll come immediately, though, where the Blue Jays can play some games here this year. But that's one of those things we just don't know yet. But we certainly are going to try to accomplish that, and I know that's what they want to do.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Okay, appreciate
Well, there's
it.
a chance of a lot of things, including the CNE and including
Sure.
the Royal Winter Fair and including the Blue Jays. It's all going to depend on people following the rules and us getting into a better place than we're in today, because there's still a big concern about the variants and so on out there. So
Of course.
that's we have to be optimistic, and I am. But you have to do the stuff that gets us to the good place.
You got it. All right, Mayor Tory, as always, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, spring training, really exciting. I'm a big Jays fan, so I'm hoping that there's something, Devo, something.
You're going to be